At the first curve, I saw a massive being with red eyes and wings. Those red eyes burned the image in my brain that night. Maybe there is some type of portal.
Can Bigfoot talk? What does he say?
He was just like drinking cocaine. Welcome to Baba Yaga's Crib. We're your host Olga.
And Veronica.
And we're here to unravel myth, legends, paranormal encounters, and mysteries that defy explanation.
So light a candle, burn some incense, and prepare to be bewitched. You just stepped into Baba Yaga's crib.
If you're interested in this type of content, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Today we're going to dive into the Appalachia lore.
Ooh.
Why does this one mountain region produces so many stories about cryptids, ghosts, and paranormal sightings? First of all, let's talk about the Appalachian Mountains. The Appalachian Mountains are one of the oldest mountain ranges on Earth. Some geological formations date back roughly 480 million years.
Really? Is that before dinosaurs?
It says 245 million years ago, so yeah, that's before dinosaurs for sure.
See, I was right. I took paleontology in high school, so I'm an expert on dinosaurs.
While most of the Appalachia is in the US, it runs through 3 countries, Canada, the US, and St. Pierre and Miquelon, which is owned by France.
I didn't know that the Appalachia goes all the way up to Canada.
Me neither.
It's kind of cool.
I feel like I don't hear as many creepy stories from like the Canadian side of it. Appalachia is made up of 423 counties across 13 US states and spans 206,000 square miles, from southern New York to northern Mississippi. The region's 26.6 million residents live in parts of Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, Maryland, Mississippi, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and all of the West Virginia. In Canada, they run through the provinces of Quebec, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick. A small part also runs through St. Pierre and Miquelon. The terrain is heavily forested, foggy, full of deep hollows and ravines, and sparsely populated in many areas. The range serves as a hub of rich cultural heritage and is home to many myths and legends. People in Appalachia often describe nature as something bigger than you, overwhelming, humbling, and unknown. Historically, Appalachian communities were isolated for generations because of the mountains, which meant stories stayed local, oral traditions survived longer, and folklore wasn't diluted as quickly by urban culture. Folklore experts say Appalachia preserves storytelling traditions unusually well in the US. In the Appalachian Mountains, superstition is ingrained in everyday life. One of the most common warnings is not to whistle at night in the woods, which we kind of mentioned that in the previous episode where we talked about mimics.
Yeah, skinwalkers, mimics.
Yeah, so
I wonder why whistling specifically. Can you sing? Can you hum?
I think whistling at night in the woods is kind of almost like giving away your location.
Yeah.
So like whether it's supernatural beings or like just predators in the woods or even like, bad people.
I feel like it's a warning more against people because when you go hiking in the mountains, they say make noise because that will
keep the animals away.
They'll keep the bears specifically away. Like bears are scared of humans, so if they hear you coming, they're gonna leave.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, it seems like it's a warning against people mainly, but also maybe like supernatural entities.
Yeah. There's other indigenous tribes probably kind of coexisting in the same area. So obviously like they're kind of fighting for resources and things like that. So that could be also part of it where it's like you don't want to be murdered by someone in the woods while hunting or something. Because if you whistle, then they're going to know it's a human. People are also told to avoid looking out the window if they hear strange noises after dark.
That is so creepy. I hate looking out the window when it's nighttime.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know like what that one could be explained, how that could be explained. Like, don't look out the window because it's like your instinct is kind of to find out what it is.
True.
So it's almost like against like a human instinct to just like not like just close your window, just ignore what's going on.
I wonder if they said that to children to just like protect them from seeing something scary.
And the most unsettling belief of all is if you hear your name being called at night, don't answer, even if the voice sounds exactly like a friend, neighbor, or a family member. According to local folklore, evil spirits can mimic familiar voices to lure people away. Another long-standing tradition involves leaving coins at crossroads, a practice believed to ward off evil or calm restless spirits said to linger there. Many locals also pay close attention to animal behavior, especially on foggy mornings. Strange or unusual movements are often seen as warnings that danger may be near. Before European settlers, indigenous nations, including the Cherokee Nation, already had spiritual tradition tied to the mountains. A lot of internet Appalachian horror mistakenly mixes unrelated indigenous legends together. Some creatures commonly discussed online, like skinwalkers, are not actually Appalachian traditions.
Really?
Yeah. There are some authentic regional legends. For example, Raven Mocker. In Cherokee mythology, the Raven Mocker is one of the most feared supernatural beings, said to be a powerful witch or evil spirit. The Raven Mocker is believed to prey on the sick and dying, stealing their hearts to extend its own life. Legends say that for every victim it claims, it gains the years that the person would have otherwise lived. It's really creepy.
That's very spooky.
Mm-hmm. Raven mockers are often described as appearing old and withered from unnaturally prolonged lives. They can take the form of elderly men or women, become invisible to most people, or move through the night as fiery spirits, accompanied by the sound of raven cries and rushing wind.
It's a sick name, though. Raven Mocker.
Yeah. In Cherokee folklore, hearing those sounds was believed to signal that someone nearby would soon die. Because of this fear, Cherokee medicine men were set to guard the dying, protecting them from the Raven Mocker and using spiritual knowledge to reveal or even curse the creatures. So that one is really interesting. I feel like a lot of the ones that I'm about to mention are not really like common that like I've heard about in the past. Like it does typically, like whenever you hear about Appalachia, it's always like skinwalkers, but apparently it's actually not an Appalachian legend.
Interesting.
It's actually like a Navajo belief. Cherokee folklore also mentions a mysterious group known as the Moon-Eyed People, a short, pale-skinned race said to have lived in the Blue Ridge and Smoky Mountains long before European settlers arrived. According to the legend, they had light-colored eyes, sometimes beards, and were sensitive to sunlight, only seeing clearly at night, which is how they earned the name Moon-Eyed.
Makes me think of Gollum.
Yeah, it's almost like were they living in caves or something, where it's like
also
there's
like
no light so they can't see.
The Descent.
Oh, that one's creepy.
Moon-eyed people. Just sounds so creepy.
Mm-hmm.
It does make me think of like the settlers. But this was before they even came, so.
Yeah. Stories about them have been passed down for generations throughout Appalachia. Some families even use the tales to scare children into coming home before dark, warning that the Moon-Eyed People wander the mountains at night, searching for lost children. The legend describes them as skilled builders who may have constructed ancient stone forts and mounds, including structures like the mysterious fort on Fort Mountain State Park. Cherokee stories also speak of conflicts between the Moon-Eyed People and local tribes, eventually forcing them to disappear westward. Over the years, many theories have tried to explain who they were. Some connect them to the legend of Prince Medoc, a Welsh explorer supposedly reaching America centuries before Columbus, while others believe the stories may describe a forgotten native tribe with unusual physical traits. Another theory links them to prehistoric mound building cultures. Still, no archaeological evidence has ever proven the Moon-Eyed People truly existed. So, which is like kind of sad, like kind of sucks that there's not actual solid proof. It's more just like a oral legend that like these people existed, but it's hard to prove it like without any type of like evidence. Today, the story remains one of Appalachia's most enduring mysteries, a blend of folklore, oral history, and unanswered questions hidden deep within the mountains.
I could see it just being a group of people that got there before Columbus. Like, was it the Vikings that visited?
The kind of description of it sounds like it would be Vikings, like with blue eyes and
they
like
build
blonde
shit.
hair.
Vikings were building shit. I'm connecting the dots here.
There's another legend of Spearfinger. Deep within the Appalachian Mountains, where the fog drifts through the trees and the forests seem alive with whispers, Cherokee legend tells of a terrifying being known as a Spearfinger. With skin as hard as stone and long razor-sharp finger.
Just one?
Yeah, it's only, one long one.
That is so gross.
She was set to stalk the mountains in search of victims, especially children. Her home was believed to be near Whiteside Mountain, where strange sounds and sudden chills were set to signal her approach. Kind of sounds like Baba Yaga.
I was thinking the same thing. I feel like every culture has a legend about a witch that lives in the woods that eats children. It seems like.
What made Spearfinger truly terrifying was her ability to disguise herself. She could appear as a harmless old woman or blend in unnoticed until it was too late. According to the legend, she would kill without leaving visible wounds, stealing the liver of her victims before vanishing back into the mountains. For years, the Cherokee feared there was no way to stop her because her stone-like skin made her nearly impossible to kill. But with help from the chickadee bird, they discovered her secret weakness. Her heart was hidden in her right hand, the same one bearing the deadly spear-like finger. That sounds like a creepypasta kind of story where it's like a lady with like a long finger that she like kills people with, like, you know, like those books of like scary stories to tell in the dark. The Cherokee eventually trapped Spearfinger in a hidden pit and attacked the one vulnerable spot on her body, ending her reign of terror. Still, the legend survives in Appalachia to this day. Some say that when the wind howls through the mountains or the woods suddenly fall silent, Spearfinger's spirit may still be wandering the shadows. Ooh. According to Cherokee folklore, deep within the Appalachian Mountains lurks a terrifying creature known as the Wampus Cat, a mysterious beast set to roam the forest at night with glowing eyes, chilling screams, and an almost human presence. Some legends claim it was once a woman transformed into a creature after witnessing a sacred ritual. Others believe it carries the spirit of an ancient protector tied to the Cherokee legend. Witnesses describe the Wampus Cat as something unnatural, part human, part feline, lurking silently in the trees before vanishing into the darkness.
Makes me think of the Cheshire Cat. Also, there's a Slavic legend about a giant cat. Do you remember that one? Called Bayun.
Folklore warns that the encountering one can bring madness, bad luck, or even death, and many stories portray the creature as dangerous to anyone who crosses its path. For generations, eerie sightings and encounters have been reported throughout Appalachia, and some believe the Wampus Cat still prowls the mountains at the dusk.
My toxic trait is that I think I can befriend all those creatures.
So these were pretty much like the authentic Indigenous beliefs, like creatures that they believed in. And then obviously when the settlers came in, they mixed those beliefs with their own and kind of just like mixed things together, and it turned into like the whole Appalachia lore. The mining industry was also kind of a factor in this whole lore about Appalachia, just because it was so dangerous in the 18 and 1900s because of explosions, methane buildup, tunnel collapses, black lung disease, flooding, and toxic gas suffocation killed thousands of people. In West Virginia alone, more than 21,000 miners have died in accidents since records began. So that's a lot of people dying. Like, this adds to kind of the creepiness of Appalachia because there's so many deaths kind of like associated with the area. I know there's like all kinds of, like, the mining wasn't just like in Appalachia, obviously it's like in all kinds of other places, but I just feel like just because of everything together, it adds up to this whole like paranormal thing.
Yeah, it almost feeds the legends.
One of the most important events for Appalachian haunting lore is the Monongah mining disaster. On December 6, 1907, a massive underground explosion ripped through mines number 6 and 8. At least 362 miners died. Many victims were immigrants and children. Entire bodies were never recovered. Rescue workers found scattered remains and toxic air pockets. The explosion was so powerful, people reportedly felt it miles away. This disaster permanently embedded the idea of the restless spirits underground into Appalachian culture. Stories spread for decades about phantom pickaxe sounds, voices in abandoned shafts, ghost miners carrying lanterns, whistles heard from sealed tunnels. Some miners believe dead workers warned the living through knocks in the mine walls. Many bodies were never identified properly. Families often buried partial remains or symbolic coffins because there was nothing left to recover.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of very upsetting events, a lot of deaths and loss. And I feel like all that combined kind of creates a very unrestful energy.
Yeah.
All these people died so suddenly. They weren't buried properly. So I could see how the spirits could have just gotten like trapped in there.
Yeah.
A lot of like unfinished business.
Yeah. And just the energy itself, even if it's not actual like ghosts, it could just be such a negative energy in that area. It's like when people say when they go to concentration camps, they say how it's so dense, like the energy in the area. Maybe because we know that these places are so full of loss and grief and sadness that it's like it makes you feel like that. But like some people go to like certain areas and feel those things without even knowing that something happened there.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely believe in energy. Like I think that's not some
like it's not like a paranormal thing necessarily.
Yeah, energy exists. Everyone knows that like everything is made up of energy.
Mm-hmm. So there also have been numerous reports over the years of hikers and hunters going missing without a trace in these mountains. One of the most well-known cases is that of 66-year-old hiker Geraldine Largy, who vanished while hiking the Appalachian Trail. Massive search efforts were launched, but no sign of her could be found. Then nearly 2 years later, her remains were finally discovered deep in the wilderness, a haunting reminder of just how unforgiving these mountains can be. Spending a day outdoors can be refreshing and rewarding, but nature also comes with plenty of risks. From sudden weather changes and wildlife encounters to dehydration and illness, hikers always need to stay aware of their surroundings.
Yeah, it could also be a heart attack or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also like some people just go hiking on their own.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just by yourself, like there's a lot more risk to it too. Yeah. Especially if you're older, like she was 66. Mm-hmm. But some dangers go beyond the natural world and come from people instead. There has been a record of violent crime that has happened over the years on the Appalachian Trail. On average, there has been one murder every 4 years since 1974. Which, I don't know, like the source was saying that it's not that much, like comparing of like how many people go through it and how big the area is. Mm-hmm. Comparing it to like a city, right? Like when
well, yeah, of course it's not going to be as bad as the city.
But it still seems like too much. So I included a few of them because it would just take too long to like read all of them. So starting 1974, Joelle Paulson was hiking with a woman named Margaret McFadden when the two stopped for the night at Low Gap Shelter. While there, they met a young man named Fox, who was also staying at the shelter. The next morning, Fox shot Paulson, stole his belongings, and abducted McFadden, who was 18-year-old at the time.
Jesus.
After several days, he released her and she was able to report the incident to authorities. Fox later pleaded guilty and received a life sentence in prison.
Men are the scariest entities in these mountains.
Mm-hmm. In 1975, Janice Balza was relaxing by a campfire at the Van Deventer shelter when she was tragically killed with a hatchet by Paul Bigley, a former mental patient who reportedly wanted to steal her backpack. Bigley was later arrested, convicted of murder, and sentenced to spend the remainder of his life in prison. Some believe the Van de Venter shelter is still haunted by Balsa's spirit. In 1981, Robert Mountford and Laura Ramsey, 27-year-old social workers, were hiking the Appalachian Trail to raise money for troubled teens in Maine. While staying at the Wapiti shelter, they were attacked and killed by Randall Lee Smith. Days later, their bodies were discovered buried beneath dirt and bush inside their sleeping bags, showing both gunshots and stab wounds. Smith was convicted on 2 counts of second-degree murder and served 15 years of his 30-year sentence before being released on mandatory parole for good behavior. Years later, he carried out another attempted murder in the very same area.
Dude, why would they let him out?
I know. It's fucking stupid.
Like, obviously he's gonna be well-behaved in prison. That doesn't mean he's not gonna kill someone when he gets out. Also, I feel like people who kill randomly like that, not saying that any murder is justified, but when someone just kills someone out of nowhere, I feel like they shouldn't be released.
Yeah. It shows, like, that they're very, like, impulsive.
Yeah.
Also, like, I don't get that whole thing of, like, oh, like, they get a 30-year sentence because they murdered someone, 2 people. And then, oh, like, they're being nice in jail, good behavior, so we're just gonna release him early. Like, that's not okay for the victim. In 1990, Jeffrey Hood, 26, and Molly LaRue, 25, were a young hiking couple who spent their final night at the shelter near Cove Mountain. While there, they were attacked and killed by Paul David Cruz, a fugitive who was wanted by Florida authorities at the time. He shot and stabbed both victims before fleeing the area. 80 days later, West Virginia police arrested Cruz after hikers reported suspicious behavior. He was found carrying an unusually stuffed backpack that didn't fit him properly, which contained the couple's belongings along with the weapons used in the attack. Cruz was later convicted on 2 counts of first-degree murder and is currently serving 2 life sentences without the possibility of parole.
Good.
Yeah. It's weird how, like, some of these, like, that guy killed 2 people and he just, like...
got out.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah, it
also,
sounds
like, this
they
guy... I guess this guy
done the
was a
same
fugitive, too, before he killed him. So maybe he had, like, other crimes, obviously, that he committed previously. Still, it's, like... It makes me, like, not want to go and, like, explore overnight kind of stuff. Like, I don't mind just going to the mountains for a hike, but I just feel like when you're staying overnight in the mountains, it's, like, so isolated. I don't know, it's spooky. I'm, like, definitely more scared of fucking people than animals. In 2001, Louise Chaput traveled from Quebec to Pinkham Grant, where she spent the weekend at a lodge near the Appalachian Mountain Club Visitor Center. Looking for a short day hike, she set out on the Lost Pond Trail, whose trailhead was located just across the road in the Pinkham Notch area. Chaput was never seen or heard from again, and her family reported her missing to local authorities the following Monday. Her body was discovered on Thanksgiving Day with multiple stab wounds. The motive behind the attack remains unknown, as the case is still unsolved with the killer at large.
That is disturbing.
So, like, he's still out there.
The fact that some people will literally kill someone just because they can.
I know.
Like, just because you're on this trail and there's no one around and they can get away with anything, they just, like, choose to do it.
I know, it's fucked. The latest recorded murder on the Appalachian Trail happened in 2019. A 43-year-old Ronald Sanchez, a U.S. Army veteran with 16 years of service and 3 deployments to Iraq, returned home and later turned to long-distance hiking as a way to reconnect with nature. Despite ongoing knee and shoulder injuries, he began his Appalachian Trail journey early in the season, moving at a slower pace than most hikers. By May 10th, he had reached southern Virginia and was camping with 3 other hikers in Wythe County. The following morning, they encountered 30-year-old James Lewis Jordan. Jordan had reportedly been behaving erratically and had already raised concerns among other hikers. He allegedly threatened to burn the group's tent, and when they attempted to leave, he attacked them, killing Sanchez and injuring another hiker. Jordan is currently undergoing a psychiatric evaluation and is awaiting trial. Why are all these like crazy people going to the mountains?
I don't know. Again, it's like most of them are in the city, but then once in a while they'll go on a hike.
We do have some hiking tips for you guys to keep you safe on the trail if you are deciding to go into the mountains.
Carry a motherfucking gun.
So, one of them is hiking in groups with wildlife, not even like thinking about like murderous men on trails. Just for obviously safety reasons, it's always better to have multiple people to go with.
I think it's a good advice for anyone.
Even just like hiking with others reduces risk of injuries, getting lost, wildlife, or unwanted encounters. It also ensures help is available if something goes wrong. Like exactly. So it's like you fell and like you're just left on your own. Like imagine that. There's so many like movies where someone is like stranded by themselves.
Do you remember the story about a guy who went hiking and he got trapped under a rock or something? And then he had to cut off his own hand?
Another one is signing in at shelters. That one is a good tip because it would like, so if in case you go missing, people would know kind of your last location versus like if you're just not doing anything like that, nobody's gonna know where you are unless you have some type of like GPS or something, like some type of tracking thing on you. Also just like staying in touch with people you know, regular check-ins, like text, like if you, obviously it's really hard to like text in the wilderness because most of the time there's no signal. Yeah. But there are some apps, like there's an app called Cairn, can automatically alert a safety circle if you miss a check-in, while satellite devices like Garmin InReach allow messaging even without cell service. So there are like things nowadays that we can use to kind of help with that.
I like how I'm like, oh, I need to download that, but I never go hiking.
Also reporting suspicious behavior. So if you do see like a man that's acting weird or creepy, it's a good idea to maybe report it to the police if you can. Carrying firearms is a good one. And obviously it's not legal to carry guns in certain areas. While firearms are legally permitted in some areas, they are discouraged by the Appalachian Trail Conservancy. Laws vary by state, and hikers who choose to carry must follow all applicable regulations. But yeah, carrying firearms is like obviously a good backup plan.
Yeah, for sure.
And also just general safety, like carrying a map, conserve phone battery in low service areas, and check trail conditions and weather forecasts whenever you have reception.
It's a good idea to bring a physical map just in case.
Yeah. I mean, I can't read maps for shit, but I would try and, you know, figure it out, like if you're actually out there. And
so let's talk about some Appalachian legends. One of the most infamous paranormal legends connecting to Appalachian folklore is the story of the Bell Witch. The tale began in the early 1800s on a farm in Tennessee owned by a man named John Bell. According to local stories, the Bell family started experiencing bizarre events around their home in 1817. At first, it was strange animal sightings and unsettling noises coming from outside, but soon the disturbances moved indoors. The family reportedly heard scratching on the walls, heavy footsteps at night, and sounds that couldn't be explained. I remember I actually did an illustration for this story.
For school?
For school, yeah. I'll attach it if I can find it. As time went on, things became even more disturbing. The Bell children claimed that they were being physically attacked by an unseen force while they slept. Then came the voices of a strange entity that could speak, whisper, and even hold conversations with people in the house. Eventually, locals began referring to the spirit as the Bell Witch. Many versions of the story claim the entity focused most of its anger on John Bell himself.
What did he do?
His health reportedly deteriorated as the haunting intensified, and after his death in 1820, some believed the spirit had caused it. One legend even says a mysterious bottle of liquid was found beside his bed, with the witch later claiming responsibility. Was the witch like, That was me.
I gave him some poison. He was just like drinking cocaine.
Drinking cocaine?
Well, I think they actually used to use it for like as a cough syrup. There was like cocaine in it. Like in 1800s, I just feel like there's so many things that could cause you to see shit. Like the things that were so casually taken, like medications and stuff. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying this is a fake story or anything, but I also wonder, like,
what was in there? What was in that liquid?
Nobody tested that shit.
I don't know if they could test it back then.
They could.
The only way to test is to drink it. No one wanted to drink it.
But do you think like he murdered someone and then that's why he was seeing shit? He was being haunted by like a woman he murdered or something?
Maybe. I mean, I don't want to blame him, but at the same time, it makes you wonder, like, what if he did kill someone and then the guilt
that's what I mean
manifested in the spirit, and then maybe because of him claiming that he was seeing things, his children were like, oh, me too, I see stuff.
Yeah I kind of feel like that's possible.
Definitely possible, but there was also other people who experienced the haunting, so yeah, I am a little suspicious of John here. Like, why did this witch start haunting him? Yeah. I want to hear her side.
Enter you, the Bell Witch.
The story spread quickly throughout the region and became one of the most talked about supernatural legends in the South. Some accounts even say that General and future President of the United States, Andrew Jackson, visited the Bell property out of curiosity, only to leave shaken by what he witnessed. Whether people see it as a true haunting or simply a tale that grew over generations, the Bell Witch legend still holds a powerful place in Appalachian horror culture today. So the next creature is a very popular one, and it's called the Mothman. The Mothman. One of the most famous cryptids tied to Appalachian folklore is the Mothman, a mysterious creature that first reported in 1966 near Point Pleasant. Witnesses described seeing a tall human-like figure with huge wings, glowing red eyes, and an unsettling ability to glide silently through the night.
I wish I had that ability.
I know, it sounds sick.
I want to glide through the night.
On a broomstick.
And freak people out.
What made the legend even more disturbing was the belief that sightings of the creature were connected to disasters. Over the following months, more people claimed to encounter Mothman around Point Pleasant, fueling fear and rumors throughout the community. Then, on December 15, 1967, tragedy struck when the Civil Bridge collapsed, causing the bridge connecting West Virginia and Ohio to collapse during rush hour traffic.
I didn't know, like, for Mothman, like, I didn't really know much about it. I just thought it was, like, campy, like, kind of thing.
Kind of is.
But it's actually kind of interesting that it's almost like a omen that something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah. It also kind of looks like an owl, and I know that in Indigenous folklore, an owl is like a death omen. So maybe it's just a big owl.
Yeah, like it might not be like human size, but it's big enough that people are like, freaked out by it.
46 people lost their lives in the disaster. After the collapse, many locals began linking the sightings of Mothman to the event, believing the creature had appeared as some kind of omen or warning before the tragedy occurred. Although investigators later determined the bridge collapsed because of a structural failure, the connection between Mothman and the disaster became permanently woven into Appalachian legend. To this day, the story remains one of the region's most chilling and talked about paranormal mysteries.
I think Mothman is almost like trying to warn people about a disaster about to happen. So I think it's almost like a positive thing versus a negative. Like he's not like creating chaos or like killing people or anything. It's more of like
an omen.
He's trying to warn people. I don't know. Yeah, it's like an omen for something bad about to happen. And I feel like maybe if you know that, you would be aware, but it's like it's not like you can prevent it. That's like one thing that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, he definitely should do a better job at like telling people.
Yeah, like maybe write a sign or something.
Don't go on the bridge.
So apparently there is a creature that is sort of similar to the Mothman that is from the North American indigenous folklore, and it's called the Thunderbird.
What is it?
It is just like a big ass bird.
Big ass bird. Is it
Yeah.
also like...
It says it guards the underworld. It has glowing eyes and ability to command storms.
Interesting. I like the owl idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's one of the biggest theories is that it's just a big owl.
Sometimes animals just sense things ahead of time. Like if there's like a fire happening or something, you see like all the animals like running away from it.
Yeah, but why would it come to you? Like I feel like you wouldn't see it because it would be gone because it knows something's gonna happen.
I don't know, maybe they're trying to warn us.
Maybe they just want to watch us die.
I want to see the human suffering.
So another cool Appalachian legend is the one of the Brown Mountain Lights. Deep in the Appalachian Mountains of North Carolina, one of the region's oldest mysteries continues to puzzle both locals and scientists alike: the Brown Mountain Lights. For well over a century, people have reported seeing glowing orbs drifting above Brown Mountain near Linville Gorge. Witnesses describe the lights as floating silently through the darkness, sometimes hovering in place before suddenly disappearing without explanation. One person who experienced the phenomenon firsthand was Daniel B. Caton, a professor at Appalachian State University. While driving through the mountains one evening, he stopped near Linville Gorge to observe the night sky. After watching the area for nearly an hour, he suddenly saw a bright light appear overhead. According to Caton, it didn't move like an airplane or a satellite. It seemed much higher than a normal light source in the sky. Moments later, it vanished.
Aliens.
Sounds like it. The Brown Mountain Lights were first reported in the 1800s, and ever since then, countless theories have tried to explain them. Some believe the lights are caused by natural phenomena like ball lightning or unusual atmospheric conditions. Others connect them to Appalachian folklore, claiming they're spirits wandering the mountains. More extreme stories even tie the lights to alien encounters and unexplained paranormal events. Despite modern investigations and camera recordings, no one has ever been able to explain what the lights are or why they appear. And in true Appalachian fashion, the mystery has only grown stronger with time. Do you want to see a video of the lights?
Yeah.
How's it going, everyone? In this video, we're going to take an up-close look at the phenomenon known as the Brown Mountain Lights.
We see?
What?
They're so intense.
And I feel like
Look at this.
It looks
Inform some other
purple.
pictures as well.
It does. It looks very bright. Like
Pulled up
this.
through the air,
It literally looks like someone
circle
running
around,
around with like a
making strange
one of those
shapes
light
way up
sticks.
off the ground. Never
but
seen
it's like
anything
goes
like
into
that
the
before.
sky. We'll link a video below of someone capturing the lights.
It sucks too because like whenever I hear people seeing lights in the sky, I just feel like there's so many different things that it could be that it's almost like there's so much technology nowadays with like military testings and things like that makes me kind of be like, oh, like I guess it could be that, but
it could be. But these sightings have been reported way before this type of technology was developed. And they're in the areas where there was no like traffic or anything, because it was like long before.
When was it like the first recorded sighting of that?
So I think the first official sighting was reported in 1854, but
I mean that makes it like a huge difference. It's not like, oh, it's like a recent thing that people start seeing.
I'm sure there were
like
sightings before that too.
Elon Musk drones.
Yeah, no, definitely not that. People were seeing these lights like way back in the day. So in 1913, the United States Geological Survey investigated the lights and concluded that they were train lights. The locals called bullshit on this theory, and they were proven right in 1916 when the region was hit by a large flood which shut down all the electricity and the railways in the area. Despite all that, the lights continued to appear. So they're clearly not train lights.
Also, like, there's no railroads in that area, so I don't know what they were talking about.
There is like an explanation. So basically, even though there's no railroad going through that exact area, they claim that it was atmospheric refractions which occur when light bounces off clouds or fog. But like we said, the light still appeared even though the trains weren't traveling in that area.
Also, like, based on the video that we just saw, like,
it does not look like train lights.
And also it doesn't look like it's like a reflection of like the lights.
They're very, very bright and they're moving in crazy patterns. Like, that's not a reflection.
We should put on our tinfoil hats.
Yeah. So one of the other theories suggests that the lights are caused by swamp gas, a natural phenomenon that occurs when methane, which is produced by decaying vegetation, comes in contact with oxygen, which causes it to ignite spontaneously, creating bright flashes of light.
Also, why was it purple? I mean, I don't know, like, I feel like it would be more of like a fire, kind of like red sparks and stuff, but like the way that looked. Also, like, why is it moving? Like, I understand it like could light up and like almost like an explosion type of thing, but those
were moving lights.
Yeah,
like, it looks like something that's like flying through the air.
Yeah, like a drone or something.
Yeah. But I mean, technically, those videos are filmed like today.
Yeah, I guess.
So it could be someone trying to recreate the lights with the drone. Like, obviously, there's no way to prove that it's real. But again, like we said, those lights were observed by people like way back in the day. But what I was going to say is that the area surrounding the Brown Mountain is not swampy.
So that doesn't make sense. Like, it could be some other like natural phenomenon, I guess, but it's like
they haven't been able to figure out what it is.
Yeah, for years.
They've done investigations and they came up with nothing. Like, unless it's something we can't really see.
Aliens.
So another theory, like I mentioned before, is that these lights are caused by the ball lightning, which is another unexplained phenomenon. But the thing is that these lights are observed during different weather conditions. And the ball lightning is very rare. And
like, for it to happen regularly is not like
like normal. Why would it just happen all of a sudden when there's no storm or anything?
Yeah.
I used to be terrified of the ball lightning when I was little.
Because our parents would always say that, like, close the window because you don't want it to, like, enter into the house. I remember, like, the kind of, like, tips to surviving a ball lightning was, like, if it enters the room, you have to, like, stay still and just, like, not move. Otherwise, it would, like, go into your body and, like, kill you.
It sounds like a ghost or a demon. All these theories struggle to fully explain these lights, which lead many to believe that there are supernatural forces at hand. I think we all know what the lights are. Fairies.
They're gonna say aliens.
It makes me think of fairies. Like, they're just flying around the mountains. Do you have any theories on what the lights are? Do you think it's aliens?
Some Mothman partying in the mountains.
Imagine walking deep in the woods when you catch movement between the trees. At first, it looks like a bear, a massive figure covered in dark fur. You freeze, staring into the shadows as the forest suddenly falls silent all around you. Then you notice a footprint on the ground nearby, shaped like a human foot, but nearly 2 feet long and far too large to belong to any person. In that moment, you realize what you saw was definitely not a black bear. Known as Sasquatch, Yeti, Wood Booger, or Boojum, Bigfoot is described as a large ape-like creature said to roam remote forests while avoiding human contact. Legends of similar wild, hairy beings date back centuries, appearing in both European folklore and Native American oral traditions.
It's crazy that it goes that far back. I feel like I didn't know about that. That it was a bit more of like a urban legend, like a newer thing.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like it, but yeah, it definitely comes from like ancient legends.
But I'm just kind of curious, like, about the indigenous beliefs in that. Like, what do they say about it?
Yeah.
There is like a lot of kind of like shape-shifting beliefs in indigenous cultures, which is interesting. Like, I wonder where that kind of stems from. Like, is it maybe like that people wanted to turn into animals? Like, at some point they were just like thought maybe it's possible, or maybe it's like based on kind of like afterlife thoughts. Maybe. Like, you know how like reincarnation works. But I'm just curious because it's like there's a lot of kind of shape-shifting themes in indigenous cultures.
Yeah. For Phil Smith of Gate City, Virginia, the creature is no legend. Smith says that as a boy, he and his friends were biking home one cold November night when they realized something was following them through the woods. Cutting through his grandparents' backyard, Smith heard movement in the bush and turned to see what he described as a 7-foot-tall creature standing near the grapevines.
That's terrifying. Maybe that's what's calling people's names at night.
Jeff!
Can I get some weed?
Can I bum a light? Can Bigfoot talk? What does he say?
The Diaries of a Bigfoot.
Moonlight shone in its hair as it silently watched them. Smith says he immediately sped home in fear.
That's really creepy. Could it be like bear?
No, it's Bigfoot.
It's also funny it's called Bigfoot because I feel like most of the time people just saw like the footprints versus like actually seeing it. I think that's why it's called Bigfoot because it's like
Has big feet.
there's so many different theories behind like Bigfoot in general because it's like some people think that it's like maybe some type of like variation of a human species, but like instead of like a Homo sapien, it's like some other variation of.
Yeah. I wonder if it's a spirit. It's not like, oh, just a hairy man living in the woods. Like,
What
I
if
wonder,
it is a hairy man?
it could be, but I feel like it makes more sense to me that it's a spirit of some kind that kind of crosses the veil once in a while and that people can see
Or
it.
it's like a different dimension.
Yeah. And people haven't been able to find it because of that, because it's not always like there, just living its life in the woods.
I also think like with Bigfoot, like if it does exist, like I don't think it's just one thing, like one individual creature. I feel like it's almost like a species.
Well, like it said, it was mentioned in other cultures, not just North America, but like European cultures as well. So yeah, it could be some type of being that just like exists on a different plane, traveling to our world.
What if it like comes home and they're like, guess what I saw in the woods, and talking about humans?
I saw a naked man.
A tiny little man. Imagine they have like a whole society and they're just like talking about humans. How they're like, sometimes in the woods you can see humans. Or like they have a different word for us.
The moon-eyed people. Okay, so this next cryptid is a more recent addition to the Appalachian folklore. The knot deer. It's a terrifying creature that looks almost like a normal deer until you notice something is deeply wrong. People who encounter one often describe an overwhelming sense of dread, as if the animal is pretending to be a deer without fully understanding how.
I also wonder if there's like some type of like toxic waste.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like some of these, because it says, oh, it looks like a deer, but something is off in its appearance. But like it could just be a deformity of some kind.
I love how you're like trying to disprove all of these.
I think it's fine to question things. We can still believe in it. I'm not saying it's not true. But
I don't know if I believe in all of those, but like...
Especially this one is a more recent addition.
Yeah, so it feels like almost like diseased animals. Like we talked about kind of in the Mimics episode. Because they also mentioned like the knot deer kind of like creature that she saw that was like almost like speaking to her.
Yeah. Witnesses report unnatural movements, legs bending the wrong way, forward-facing predator-like eyes, distorted antlers, and behaviors that feel disturbingly human. So yeah, like some of these could be explained.
How does that sound like a human though? Legs bending the other way.
I don't think it's referring to that. I think it's like maybe the human voices.
Oh yeah.
Like calling out to you, like trying to stand on its 2 legs. Unlike normal deer, knot deer are said to stare directly at people, approach without fear, and sometimes even walk on 2 legs.
I can't imagine that. That would be terrifying. Like, can they balance? Like, how do they walk on back?
Well, deer can stand on their 2 legs, you know, when they fight.
Like when they go like, ooh, like a horse, you
yeah.
know?
Many stories describe them appearing late at night on empty back roads or standing motionless at the edge of the woods. watching silently. Some believe they're shape-shifting entities mimicking deer. Others think the sighting may be linked to disease or deformities in wildlife. But whatever they are, people who see them all seem to agree on one thing: they're not normal deer.
Many people also describe Appalachia as a liminal space, a place that feels suspended between worlds, somewhere outside normal reality. So that could explain all the like supernatural thing happening. Maybe there is some type of like portal.
Yeah.
So we did talk about back rooms as liminal spaces, like empty malls, hallways,
airports,
empty offices, just anywhere where like people should be and there's not.
Yeah.
So liminal spaces are typically like isolating, spooky, mysterious, like you don't know what's kind of waiting for you.
Yeah, and definitely those national parks, forest areas, they feel very liminal because there's no people around and you're just kind of in the middle of nowhere a lot of the times.
Mm-hmm. The region's endless forests, heavy fog, winding mountain roads, and isolated valleys create an atmosphere that feels both ancient and unsettling. Sounds travel strangely through the mountains, distances become difficult to judge, and in some areas, even GPS signals disappear, making civilization feel suddenly very far away. That constant sense of uncertainty can make ordinary experiences feel deeply unsettling, which is why so many paranormal legends and eerie encounters are tied to Appalachia. In a place where the landscape itself feels mysterious, it becomes easy to believe something could be watching from just beyond the trees.
I mean, the fact that people are seeing these crazy lights flying around in the sky in that area just makes me feel like there is something supernatural going on. Like some type of energy that exists there for whatever reason.
Yeah, like a portal or some type of, like they also say like in between places is like where things happen.
Yeah.
We did find some exciting Reddit stories for you to kind of tie it together to the common sightings in Appalachia. So the first one is from r/experiencers, and it's called "Has anyone experienced the Mothman?" And so this is a comment on this post. I was going through a fairly stressful period of my life. I had moved my family to the coast of North Carolina and left our off-grid farm in Virginia vacant. We lived at the coast for about a year and would go back and forth occasionally to check on our land, but for that year, home was the beach. A few months went by and we had not been back to the farm, so we decided to head that way and check on everything. For the record, I had no knowledge of Mothman at all. Never heard of it and never saw a picture. The night before we arrived at the farm, I had a wildly vivid dream. I had a dream that I was in my gravel driveway, sitting in my mentor's truck. I'm an electrician. This would be the guy who taught me everything I know. As he was backing out in my dream, I looked maybe 1/10 of a mile up my driveway, completely wooded. No other homes at all. This is 35 acres. At the first curve, I saw a massive being with red eyes and wings. It looked like a human insect, but very large. Those red eyes burned the image in my brain that night. As fast as we locked eyes in my dream, the Mothman walked into the woods with no other sign of them again. First feeling was obviously fear. Seeing that, after seeing it calmly walk into the woods, it felt way more like it was trying to signal something and not harm me in any way. I woke up the next morning and regurgitated every detail to my wife and kids. I started searching for the character that I saw, and with my description, it took about 2 seconds to find the Mothman. This is the part where shit gets weird. That morning I woke up, we were still at the beach. By the afternoon, we had made it back to Virginia. As we pulled down my 1/4 mile long driveway, we came around the last curve. This is where the property opens up and you can see the house and my cabin. Sitting at my cabin garage door, parked is my mentor. Completely unannounced and incredibly random for him to show up. This would have to be intentional, as I was about 55 minutes from his home. His truck is the truck that the night before in my dream I had been sitting in at the exact location he was parked. He had just come up to grab a tool that he knew I had and didn't want to bother me. It's kind of weird to do that. Just go to someone's house while they're gone. Like, maybe message me?
Yeah.
He had not gone into my home, only my workshop. So I said, hey, talked for a minute, told him my crazy dream, then walked into my home to find that a squatter had been in my house for likely the last 72 hours. I feel like it was that guy. And I just so happened to show up while he was out. Then about 7 days later, my father at 69 unexpectedly and quickly died of non-Hodgkin lymphoma. We had zero clue he had cancer. I read some comments earlier about people saying he's an angel or just trying to warn you. A lot of people jokingly said he's really bad at warning if he just stands around all creepy.
That's what I was saying. Is like, well, maybe you should do a better job at warning people about things.
I think Mothman is just letting you know to buckle up. Maybe the Mothman doesn't know what is gonna happen. Maybe it's just a feeling for them too. Whatever it is, if I saw him tonight, I'd pour him a cup of coffee.
Yeah, it kind of proves the theory that the Mothman is an omen. He appears before someone's about to die.
Okay, moving on to story number 2. It's from r/scary stories, and it's called My Boyfriend Has Been Acting Terrified of Me Since We Got Back from the Appalachian Trail. I don't know what I did wrong. I need to write this down because I feel like I'm losing my mind, and putting it somewhere outside of my head might help. Dane and I have been together for 4 years. We're the kind of couple that finishes each other's sentences, that has a whole private language of inside jokes and shorthand. I know him better than I know anyone. I say that because I need you to understand that when I tell you something is wrong with him, I'm not being paranoid. I know this man. We got back from a section hike on the Appalachian Trail 11 days ago. We did about 200 miles over 3 weeks, starting in Virginia. It was Dane's idea. He'd always wanted to do a long stretch, and I had never done anything longer than a weekend trip. I was nervous. He was so excited he could barely sleep the week before we left. The first 2 weeks were incredible. Hard, but incredible. We fell into a rhythm. We'd hike until late afternoon, set up camp, cook whatever dehydrated things we'd packed, and lie on top of our sleeping bags, talking until one of us fell asleep mid-sentence. I felt closer to him out there than I ever had. No phones, no obligations, just the two of us and the mountain. It was the 3rd week when things started to feel off. I don't know how to explain it, except to say that the woods changed. Not visibly, everything looked the same trail, the same trees, but the quality of the air felt different. Thicker, somehow. Like the atmosphere had shifted by a degree you couldn't measure, but could feel in your chest. Dane felt it too. He got quieter. He had always been the one pointing things out. Look at the ridge, look at the bird. But he stopped. He just hiked. Eyes forward, jaw set. On the 4th night of the week, I woke up in the middle of the night and he wasn't in the tent. I found him standing about 20 feet away at the tree line, just standing there looking into the dark. I called his name and he turned around so fast it startled me.
It sounds like he just got cranky because he was like, I want to go home.
He's like, this was a bad idea. I called his name and he turned around so fast it startled me. He looked, I don't know, not scared exactly, more like he'd been caught doing something. He said he'd needed to use the bathroom.
Maybe he was constipated.
We went back to the tent. He didn't sleep after that. I could feel him lying awake next to me all night. So she was awake too. We finished the hike 2 days later and drove home. I thought once we were back in our apartment with our things and our routines, he'd return to himself. He hasn't. He flinches when I touch him. Not every time, but enough that I've started hesitating before I reach for him. Last week, I came up behind him while he was doing dishes and put my hands on his shoulder, and he made a sound. Not a word, just a sound, and stepped away from me. He apologized immediately, said he was jumpy lately, and blamed it on the bad sleep. He's not sleeping. I hear him up at all hours. But when I get up to check on him, he always comes back to bed right away. He says he's fine and lies there stiff as a board until I fall asleep. He started locking the bedroom door at night. We share a bedroom, we share a bed. For the past 6 days, I've been waking up on the couch with no memory of getting there, and the bedroom door locked from the inside, and Dane on the other side of it, claiming he has no idea how I ended up in the living room. He says I must be sleepwalking. He says it gently. Yeah, like if she sleepwalks, who locks the door though from the inside?
Wait, so she wakes up in the living room and then the bedroom door is locked?
Yeah.
It sounds like he doesn't like her anymore for some reason.
I asked him last night to please just tell me what was wrong. I sat across from him at the kitchen table, and I asked him to look me in the eye and tell me what I had done. He looked at me for a long time. His jaw worked. I watched him decide something. He said, "You haven't done anything. I've just been in my head since the trail. I'm sorry." He reached across the table and squeezed my hand. He let go after less than a second. I went to the bathroom after dinner and stood at the sink for a long time. I looked at myself in the mirror. Normal, tired, a little thinner than before the hike, but normal. I turned the faucet on and splashed water on my face. When I looked up, I was smiling. I hadn't smiled. I wasn't smiling, but my reflection was just for a second, just long enough for me to see it wearing an expression I hadn't put there. Wide and still and patient. Then it was just my face again. I told myself it was the lighting, the water in my eyes, but I've been thinking about the 3rd week on the trail, how the air changed, how I have almost no clear memories from those last 2 days of hiking, just flashes, a strange taste in my mouth, a sound like something large moving parallel to the trail, just past where the trees got thick. Waking up outside the tent, once with dirt under my fingernails and no explanation.
Did she turn into the Bigfoot?
Maybe. I've been thinking about how Dane stood at the tree line that night, how he looked when he turned around, the sound he made when I touched his shoulder. I've been thinking about the mirror. I've been telling myself I need to ask him what he saw on the trail, what he's been seeing since we got back. But there's another part of me, quiet, patient, underneath, that doesn't want him to answer. That part doesn't want him to say it out loud. I don't know what that means. I don't know if I should be scared of what's happening to Dane or scared of something else entirely. I just know that last night I dreamed about the woods, the smell of them, the dark, and when I woke up I was hungry in a way I've never been before. A way I don't have words for. I don't know how to end this post because I don't know what I'm even asking. I guess I just need someone else to know. I'll update when I can.
Maybe he saw a doppelganger of her in the woods and it freaked him out. Maybe he was like, I don't know if the thing that came back with me is my wife. Or
It's
if
a
it's
fairy.
a mimic.
It's a fairy.
It's a fairy.
It's a changeling. Someone commented, instead of worrying about what is happening to Dane, you should maybe worry about what is happening to you. Someone commented, it sounds like you may have wandered into Cherokee Little People territory and offended them somehow. It said that they value respect and silence, so you must not speak loudly in their woods. Maybe Dane should have been quieter as soon as you felt the change in the atmosphere, but I suppose it's too late for that now. Also, you finding him up in the middle of the night just staring into the dark is worrisome. I wish more people would be mindful of the 3 things you should never do after dark in the Appalachia. Don't whistle. Don't respond to any voices you may hear. Don't stare too long into the dark.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you stare into the dark for a long time, you start to see things.
Her weird comment about looking in the mirror and smiling without actually smiling is so creepy.
Also,
it almost feels like he's scared of her.
Yeah. So that's why I wonder, maybe he saw a mimic in the woods.
Or he heard like her calling his name or something from the woods.
Or she said that she doesn't remember everything about the last 2 days.
Yeah.
So maybe something happened.
But why would he not tell her? Like, what if he's not sure that it's actually her that came back?
Yeah, that's why.
And the whole, like, the Cherokee, I guess, also have the belief in little people in the woods. So it's, like, similar to fairies.
Yeah.
Someone said, my guess is you're possessed and try to eat Dane.
How did you came up with that?
Well, based on the comment, I was hungry in a way I've never been before.
He wakes up and she's like chewing on his foot.
Yeah, that's why he locks the door. But he loves you and is trying to save you from this demon. Except he can't talk to you about the demon inside you because that causes it to manifest and try to eat him again.
Is this commenter Dane?
Those times you found yourself on the couch were the nights when the exorcist would come to try to get rid of the demon, but you don't remember anything because the demon blocks your memory. And Dane is too afraid, so he locks himself inside the bedroom after the exorcist leaves.
That's very specific.
Someone said this comment is a horror story in itself.
Yeah.
Someone said, perhaps you guys were abducted by aliens and didn't know. Moreover, his behavior is concerning, almost like at the Blair Witch Project. If you put some holy water on him and his head doesn't spin around, you're cool. Yeah, it's creepy.
So the next story is from r/Cryptids, and it's called I Had a Terrifying Encounter in Appalachian Mountain and I'm Looking for Answers. Let me start by saying I have lived in Appalachian Mountains all my life and have experienced a lot of strange things. My family was Irish and settled in West Virginia, but I currently live in North Carolina portion of these wonderful mountains. That being said, I have learned a lot about what really lurks in these dark woods, but this was like nothing I've ever experienced before. It all began with my golden retriever Ozzy growling like I had never heard before. He literally never growls, so that had me really uncomfortable, but this growl was bone-chilling. It was like he was getting ready to have to fight for his life or something. I took both him and my other dog out around 11 p.m. and he would not leave my side. I noticed that my workshop door was open, so I walked down to close and lock it up. The entire time, Ozzy is glued to my side. He also kept trying to get in between my legs, still growling, and all of his hair sticking up like a feral animal. The second I closed the door, all hell breaks loose in the woods. It sounded like 50 full-grown men had broken out into a full sprint, tearing through the woods. Trees were shaking and branches falling. In my life, I've never been that scared. We got back in the house before I shit my pants, and I got my pistol light to figure out what the hell was out there.
So he shit his pants when he got home?
In the safety of his own home, he shit his pants. When the dog and I got back outside, we were surrounded by what sounded like people mumbling. It was everywhere. I shone the light all over the woods. I couldn't see anything, but the sound was coming from all around. It sounded as if you got a full gym of people to baby mumble. You could almost make out words. That's why I don't think it was an animal. I almost immediately felt sick, like I was having a mix between a panic attack and a full swing of the flu. Back inside the house, it sounded like people were walking around all night. The windows were creaking, and you could clearly hear the sound of shoes on gravel. The mumbling never stopped. Every time I got up to check the house, my feet would touch the floor and it would get dead silent. You couldn't hear birds, crickets, frogs, or anything. I was terrified and I didn't sleep a wink. The air felt thick and evil all night. That's the only way I could explain the feeling. Imagine a soaking wet quilt being tossed over you. That's how I felt. I am looking for any answers as to what this could be. This wasn't like the normal spooky stories my grandma and great uncles used to tell me.
That's creepy.
It sounded like it was attacked by the ghosts of football fans or something.
Is there any comments?
Someone says, this sounds similar to stories I hear on Sasquatch Chronicles. The human sounding words, the sound of walking around all night, the loud crashing through the woods, dead silence, and your dog's extreme fear all lend to those stories.
It's like a family of Bigfoot.
Okay, so this next one is coming from r/Appalachia, and it's called, Is It True That Appalachian Mountains Are Haunted? You know why you don't whistle outside at night? Because it draws attention to you. It's not the haunts you need to be worried about. It's the people who hide in the tree line and watch your house to see if they can steal something.
That's so terrifying to me, like creepy people hiding in the bushes.
That's kind of what we were talking about before, is that the whistling kind of alerts everything around you that you're there, not just spirits, but people as well. I grew up in rural southern West Virginia, and in the 80s, it was a pretty rough place. Hell, it still is, thanks to meth and other drugs that people are addicted to. You could call a sheriff, and if they even bothered to come out, it would take them an hour up winding back roads to even get to you. My dad slipped out of the back door into the darkness nightly to walk around our property with a Louisville slugger in hand. He had to use it a time or two as well. So you didn't stroll around whistling while doing that. Otherwise, you might as well wear a flashing strobe light alerting people you were there. That being said, though, I have seen and heard many things that defied logical explanation in the Appalachian Mountains. They're very old mountains, and we are but a blink of an eye in comparison to what they've witnessed. So someone commented and said, "What were your experiences that defied explanation? Very curious." And the person responds, "I won't go into all of them, but I'll share one of them. It happened when I was a kid, maybe 8 to 10 years old. I was a daddy's girl, and I wanted to do everything he did. I begged him to take me hunting with him, and occasionally he would give in and agree to take me squirrel hunting. This one time in the fall, most of the leaves were off the trees, but it wasn't super cold. So I'm guessing maybe late October or early November. Anyway, I was an absolute chatterbox of a child, never took a breath. You have to be quiet when squirrel hunting, so my dad walked me over to this huge rock on top of a flat and sat me down on a fallen tree near it and told me not to move and be quiet. He was going to go over the hill to try and get some squirrels, and he'd be back shortly. Shortly could mean 10 minutes or an hour to my dad.
What the hell? You just leave your kid in the woods by yourself?
I know, like, that is insane to me. Anything could have happened.
Like, it could be an animal attack her.
Animal, another human. She could have just wandered off.
Yeah.
Like, that is so scary to leave a child in the woods. Sometimes children go missing while they're hiking with their parents, and they're not even left on their own. They just kind of, maybe they fall behind and no one notices, and then they just disappear.
Get snatched by Bigfoot.
Yeah. Anyway, I sat there for what seemed like forever, quiet as a church mouse because there was nobody to talk to. I fiddled with leaves and sticks and scratched pictures in the dirt. Laid down to look under the gap between the trees and the ground, played with pill bugs, you know, the usual stuff a kid does when alone in the woods. At one point, I was sitting on a tree and leaned back against another one with my head tilted straight up, looking at the sky and listening to the trees talk. What are they saying? I want to know. I felt an energy shift. The hair on the back of my neck and my arms stood up, and I had goosebumps. I moved my head down to look in front of me, and there was a man standing there among the trees staring right at me.
Yeah.
My whole body started tingling. I was absolutely frozen in fear. It felt like we stared at each other for several minutes, but it was really probably only 30 seconds. He turned to his right to walk away and simply disappeared. I sat there on high alert with my heart pounding until my dad came back to get me. I heard him shoot a few times, but he didn't sound that far away, so that comforted me some. I don't know how long I sat there after that. When he came back, I started to tell him about what I saw, and he said, "Hush, don't talk about it here." He didn't seem alarmed by what I was saying. We were a pretty far walk from home on a mountain, so it took about an hour to get home. When we did finally arrive at home, we were cleaning the squirrels, and I asked him if I could tell him what I saw. He said he already knew, and talking about it only gave it strength, so just let it go and stop bringing it up. We never talked about it again. I went squirrel hunting with him after that many times and never saw it again. I have no idea who or what it was. My dad died when I was 15, so I never got the chance to ask him about it as an adult.
I wonder if he didn't want her to, like, bring it up because he didn't want her to bring it up to her mom.
Yeah, the mom wasn't mentioned, so I don't know if it was just the dad.
I don't know, but, like, I would be pretty pissed if, like, my husband left the kid alone in the woods by themselves.
It could have just been an actual person.
Yeah.
They just
That's
stared
what I'm
and then
saying.
walked
I feel
away.
like the dad felt like shit, like I shouldn't have left her there alone, so I'm just gonna pretend that nothing happened.
Don't talk about
Yeah.
it. That's pretty messed up, yeah. And hopefully he didn't leave her alone after that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, that could have been an actual person and something bad could have happened.
So whether you believe in the paranormal or not, the Appalachian Mountains hold stories that refuse to be easily explained. Maybe some mysteries are meant to stay unanswered. Either way, stay safe out there because whether it's the unknown or just the wilderness itself, these mountains are not something to mess with. And this is the end of our 11th episode. Woo! Woo! If you've gotten this far, thank you so much for listening. Remember to like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what topics you'd like us to cover next. You can submit your stories to us by emailing babayagascrib@gmail.com. If you want to check out the final art for today's episode, go to our Instagram at Baba Yaga's Crib. You can also follow us on TikTok at baba.yagas.crib. And see you next time if you find your way back.